Today, it's ChillPoint on Sunday. It's like candy for breakfast. This is ChillPoint.
It's just cereal.
Is that because it's a fun idea, or because you just definitely shouldn't be doing this?
It's a fun idea that's deeply wrong.
Okay.
You can do both,
Great.
but also it's just cereal. Like, have you seen cereal? Cereal's just candy now.
Saw a whole bowl of cereal this morning. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you ate.
Mm-hmm.
Candy for breakfast?
And now you're about to have
Orange juice.
candy for lunch. That's not orange juice.
Orange juice.
That is not orange juice.
It is juice that is orange.
There's no way that's juice.
They technically classified as an orange juice.
That's good.
An orange drink.
It also tastes mostly like my toothpaste and also my eye drops.
Maybe you shouldn't put those in there.
Yeah.
It's amazing how they replicated that flavor.
Mm-hmm. I wonder why that is.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to ChillPoint, show that we talk about the video game news from the last week and also the episode of Checkpoint, which went up on Friday last week because of various scheduling issues, which meant that we were recording it when and Heather was editing it when we would normally be doing this. And so we were like, well, then we should do the Chill Point after. But Saturday we were busy.
We didn't want to pretend to do a Chill Point about an episode that hadn't gone up yet.
Yeah, I feel like we've done that like once or twice.
We've done it a couple of times, and it's
weird.
weirdly just awkward.
It's like a weird like spoiler for the actual episode that's going to go up.
This is a story they're going to talk about. They did some cool stuff in it that you didn't know yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trust,
Yeah.
it'll be funny. Yeah. Yeah, you can't do the post show without the show. You can't do the post show pre-show.
I can do whatever I want, but
I mean, that's true.
I choose not to be uncomfortable or awkward.
How's that working for you?
Sometimes pretty good.
So today we are talking about the episode went up on Friday and with Beej and Graham doing the stories, and in some ways actually it's kind of nice. I was thinking like it's kind of nice, not that it's going to be a
recurring feature,
a recurring thing, but the nice thing about Checkpoint going up on Friday and then doing the Chill Point on Sunday is that like not a lot happens on Saturday,
right?
In terms of video game news.
Usually, no.
Usually, anyway.
Yeah.
So that way, you know, the world, the world of video game news hasn't changed much between the two things.
So wait, what I'm hearing here is that we should actually be running Checkpoint on like Saturday or Sunday, because then by the time we write stuff, there's nothing new that can possibly develop while Checkpoint is being filmed.
I thought we discovered that when we used to do it on Monday, because we're like, well, the whole week is over, right? Like, you got everything on Friday and Saturday, if there is anything on Saturday and Sunday, so you do it on Monday. And therefore, why would there be new news on Monday? Nobody ever does news on Monday, because then you have the whole week to talk about it. And as we discovered when we were doing that, it's like sometimes there was just crap happening that we were always too late for.
Yeah, but then when we moved to Thursday, everybody started putting out all their news on Thursday.
Yes.
Like, I know we're a trendsetter, but I feel like, if we move it to the weekend, because we already work on the weekend.
Yeah.
If we move it to the weekend, do we end up being such a trendsetter that we force everybody else to work on the weekend? Or do they ignore us because that's more powerful?
I mean, they do say everybody's working on the weekend. Everybody wants a new romance.
I don't know what song you're quoting. Are you quoting a song?
Yes.
Okay.
Good. I'm glad you noticed.
But I believe they also say you don't have to go to work.
That's right.
Is also a song.
So
you
just want to bang on your drum all day.
Exactly.
Are these like Beatles songs or something?
Yes.
Is this like?
However,
Was I too young for this music when it came out?
Also, school on Saturday. I don't know. There's a lot of songs
Yeah.
involving things to do on different days of the week.
yeah, like taking care of business.
Rock around the clock.
Something you have to do. You have to be taking care of business, but you always have to be rocking around the clock. Like, how am I supposed to take care of business if I'm always rocking?
Yeah, I feel like all songs can't be true all at the same time, which is possibly not a revelation that needed to be made, but there it is.
All right. Well, the only thing I know how to do is get down on Friday.
Yeah. Exactly. You have to both work around the clock and also work 9 to 5.
And never give things up.
Yeah. Never give things up or let people down.
Yep.
On Fridays.
Or run around or
Yeah.
hurt people.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about...
Can we take over Manhattan first?
And then Berlin?
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as we get the plan straight.
We should have some few steps between those two things, I think.
Oh, I mean, yeah, there'll be the travel steps.
Right.
But I warned you.
When you go into Germany, that's part of the customs form is, have you recently taken Manhattan?
We'll take a yellow submarine.
And are these 99 balloons all yours?
It's a very popular question at the
Yeah.
border.
Okay.
We ready now?
Oh. Want to go to, speaking of traveling, do you want to go to Australian McDonald's?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because then you can get a special skin for Overwatch. And then that's all you get to do.
See, when you started
So-
the sentence of, if you go to McDonald's, you can get a special skin, and it
Yeah.
was kind of like on the potatoes.
No. The skin is not on the potatoes.
Good, okay.
It's on you.
Right.
Yeah. Macas apparently is the
Macca's.
Macas.
Macca's.
Macca's?
It's
Yeah.
the equivalent of like Mickey D's.
Yeah, exactly.
You get it's an epic
Mickey
tracer
D's nuts.
skin. Epic being the designation of the skin. Apparently, according to some things that said, it's not even like an exclusive, this is like a skin that has been released before.
Oh, okay.
Like people are like, wait, I have that skin from like 2 years ago.
On the other Overwatch.
From like Overwatch. It
Right.
was
Wait,
like,
did they carry that over to Overwatch too? Did
Yeah.
everyone got to keep their skins?
I believe so.
Oh,
There are
okay.
no skinless people in Overwatch 2.
Okay. I mean, Halloween idea. Maybe they want to try that.
Yeah.
But I guess that means if you missed out, you can get your second chance.
So the main joke about this, which Graham sort of expanded on this, but when I first saw this story, I was like, if you're gonna make like an exclusive McDonald's skin for an Overwatch character,
Right.
I don't want it. Like, it wasn't even a particularly McDonald's-y skin.
Other than the color palette but that's about it.
It wasn't even
Yeah.
the color palette. Like, it was like yellow
Yeah.
and like white or something. Like, it wasn't even like yellow and red.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they just really leaned into the yellow. So she's just a French fry.
I guess.
Is she French?
No, she's English. That's the weird thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
that seems weird.
And French fries are Belgian.
So the
Are they?
Burgers are fucking round. Keep talking.
so I want, like, because we've seen, like, they've done things in like Happy Meals and things,
Yeah.
right? Of like terrible branded mascots for things, right?
Right.
I bet there's like a McDonald's Sonic around somewhere.
Oh, there should be. I know I watched a bunch of commercials
Yeah.
about Sonic toys at McDonald's once. So.
Yeah, I think we did. We sat down and
Yeah,
I
we
was
watched
like,
all
look
the
at
regional commercials.
look
for
at
it,
all
too.
these regional. Look at the Pakistani commercials were amazing.
Oh, those were good.
because they had so much stuff.
They clearly
going on.
made their own assets.
Yeah.
So and so you're saying it's a shame that they don't have, like, it's like, if you're gonna sell out to a big fast food company, just do it properly.
Yeah.
Is it really selling out if
It's one commercial product and
you're
another
like,
commercial product.
No, if you're like, oh yeah, we could do a thing with you. We have this outfit we put out like 2 years ago. You want to just like use that? Yeah, that seems
So
fine.
it's not selling out because they put so little effort into it.
Well, no, I'm just saying it seems awfully convenient that it's just like, oh, you want to give us some money? Yeah, sure. I got this in the closet. Like,
Yeah.
like some kind of, like if someone came to Lure
Like a yard sale.
and was like, hey, I'd really like you to like do something with us, and we're like, yeah, okay. We got a bunch of D20s you can have. Like,
Yeah, we'll pretend this crap shot we shot 2 years ago was something about what your thing is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know.
Change the color grading on it so everyone's wearing yellow.
Yeah, also the idea that like Blizzard, Blizzard could like sell out to McDonald's. Like, I'm pretty sure Blizzard is a bigger company than McDonald's.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But Blizzard,
like they went-
Blizzard.
It's like, oh, where's your
Blizzard.
integrity?
Blizzard should definitely collab with Dairy Queen because Dairy Queen makes blizzards.
Yes.
I mean,
And
And
that
that's
so does May
perfect.
from Overwatch.
seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do like a thing for May, but like her outfit has like bits of candy coming out of
Yeah.
it.
Does she have like a Jersey cow outfit? Didn't they give her like a Jersey cow kigurumi or something like that at one point?
I don't know, but
Then
they
that
could
would make
now.
her the Dairy Queen.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, they could just make that outfit.
Yeah.
That-
Or
that
maybe
we
I'm
do it.
imagining something I'm not supposed to be bringing up on ChillPoint.
I feel like maybe you found some artwork.
Yeah. I mean,
So
what you're
it's-
saying exists somewhere as a picture.
Sometimes I
definitely.
just
Whether it's official or not, I do
remember
not know.
things from Discords that I'm not supposed to cop to that I'm on.
Well, I mean, if you keep denying it.
Yeah.
So the funny part was for the shoulder graphics for this, I wanted to actually do like a terrible Photoshop of a branded
Oh yeah.
tracer. It was like it should have been like this.
Yeah.
With like a McDonald the Mayor McCheese head.
Yeah.
And Big M. To get the color palette for that, I didn't actually do. It turns out a while ago, Blizzard actually did. They did a collaboration with a bunch of sports teams. Where
Right.
they brought out a bunch of branded,
Oh, okay.
a bunch of branded skins for a bunch of sports teams. One of which was the Florida Mayhem. The Florida Mayhem,
It's a futsal group.
which happens to have or sort of a yellow, an orangey yellow and a red as their colors, and so there were like I did a search for like Overwatch 2 McDonald's. And there already are like a bunch of memes about Overwatch being like taken over by McDonald's. Like there's great also great career opportunity. It's
Opportunities.
opportunities.
Carrier opportunities.
God, I'm surprised that
Carrier
they spelled the rest of it right.
opportunities.
Like, let's just be honest. They had so many opportunities to spell everything else wrong. Why not go hard?
Oh, it was an esports team that played Overwatch.
Ah.
Okay. So anyway, there people were already memeing on the idea that they're all working for McDonald's. So there was like some stuff. So I took the tracer version of this outfit and did the additional stuff with the Mayor McCheese head, which is always good.
Yeah. He's a perennial favorite.
Actually, no, he isn't.
No.
They haven't actually used him for marketing in quite a long time.
Those of us who remember Mayor McCheese remember him fondly.
I remember
except
him
for the-
being
Nobody remembers the cop
part of the murals on like when they had the painted things inside the McDonald's.
and the little fry guys.
Nobody remembers the
I liked the fry guys. I thought they
horrible
were pom
scandal he was
poms.
involved with.
I didn't for the longest time. I just thought they were like pom poms with legs.
Yeah, that's fair because it kind of
They
really
have
give
that
off
look.
that energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out where the cheerleaders were though.
Yeah,
pom-poms.
They were their own cheerleaders.
I guess.
I don't know. I think it'd be really weird to have little versions of yourself on your hands to be cheering with. But that's just me.
That would be weird.
That would be weird.
Yeah.
I really just I didn't like the fact that it was ambulatory food. Like, I was fine with Grimace, and I was fine with Birdie, and the Hamburglar, I was kind of like, that seems like an excellent career opportunity.
You like Milkshake Man?
No.
I don't remember if he had a name.
No, it's like,
You saw the Hamburglar as like aspirational.
yeah, pretty much.
Like I want to be that guy.
I could if all I have to do is just steal people's hamburgers, and they're like, oh well, that's what you do. I was like, that seems pretty good because I like
believe
hamburgers.
You also have to say rubble rubble.
Yeah, I guess I have to do that too.
Didn't they put on the milkshake dude? Aren't his eyes like underneath the lid? Or am I thinking of
You're
Master
thinking
Shake?
of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, yeah.
I went to a
deal.
different McDonald's
Different
thing.
deal.
But yeah, it's like the ambulatory food was always a problem. Like, I didn't like Birdie, but also but what does Birdie represent? Just the eggs? Are we eating her eggs?
I mean, they
or
make
she-
chicken sandwiches.
Oh, was that it?
I don't know.
Jesus.
I didn't
Okay,
think
well,
about these things when
They
I
did-
was a
yeah,
child.
They didn't really dive deeply into the mythology.
I mean, yeah, not in the commercials. They tended to not, but I'm sure like on the placemats and stuff. I'm sure they must have got into it at some point. Right.
Birdie was for breakfast. She was an early bird.
Ah, right.
Yeah, you can have
I
chicken
feel
for
like-
breakfast.
I knew the
There-
eggs were connected somehow. Yeah.
Maybe the reason why they've kind of gone away from this is that it is a little bit all over the place in terms of a marketing thing.
Yeah. They made Grimace and they're like, well, there's nowhere to go but up, so keep rolling.
Anyway, I think that's there's not too much to say about the idea, the thing that it's a McDonald's in Australia only Overwatch thing seems like weirdly specific.
Yes.
I don't know why McDonald's in Australia has is negotiating with Blizzard separately from the rest of McDonald's.
Yeah, unless McDonald's in Australia is like Ford and GM in Australia, where they were just their own thing for the longest time, and so they have their own relationships with.
Right, yeah.
You do know that sometimes just there are regional things that happen because they have market research that proves a thing in a certain region.
Yeah,
Like there's so much.
It's just, but it's like the Overwatch outfit isn't in relation to Australia. Like it doesn't seem
Sure,
anything else
Maybe,
Australian. But
maybe it's
who knows?
maybe it's that everyone in Australia is still playing Overwatch.
That's true.
Like,
All right,
maybe
you want a
that's what's going
conspiracy
on.
theory? There is one McDonald's in Australia.
It's really big.
No. There
by
are
Uluru?
several McDonald's in
Uluru?
Australia, but there is one specific McDonald's in Australia
Uh-huh.
where one person who runs that McDonald's said, "You know what? I missed the one outfit over there, and I can
Oh.
get it back if I can get it here."
I like that.
And they negotiated
Yeah.
that specific outfit just for Australia
Yeah.
because that was all the control that they had.
But
To be able to
I
do.
can do
I-
this.
But they could do that, and then they were able to complete their Overwatch outfit collection.
I
Right.
love that idea of somebody using their. It's like, I don't have a lot of power here as head of marketing for McDonald's in Australia,
Yeah.
but I can do this one thing.
Yeah.
I can do this one
Yeah.
thing.
And they'll be kind of puzzled by it because they'll be like, it's McDonald's, but it's Australia? But okay, yeah, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it.
Blizzard is like, you don't want one of our newer
Nope.
skins?
No.
It's like, no, we want
Just-
this
just one
specific skin.
specific
and you want
skin,
like
please.
the Florida Mayhem? Like it's not even Australian, and this doesn't matter. We just want the Florida Mayhem skin.
No, it's not that skin.
Yeah.
It wasn't that skin.
Oh,
Yeah.
it isn't. Okay.
No.
It's just they look the same.
No.
No.
That's the one that Paul
That's the one I
grabbed
used
to make
to make a
his-
fake one.
Right.
His fake one.
But the real one that's being given by McDonald's doesn't have the McDonald's coloring on it.
Oh, it's just yellow.
It's just it's like yellow and white.
And she has the blonde
Yeah.
thing, which I
Yeah.
don't think it's her jam. She should have gone platinum. That would look pretty cool.
And it turned out this person had 5 friends who also had missed that skin, and now they're a hero.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my new headcanon.
Yep.
In my head canon, McDonald's Australia still has the McDLT.
Sure, if that works for you.
Uh,
Nobody can verify if that's true or not anyway.
Australia has a thing of keeping stuff around way longer than anyone thought it should be around for, but it still tends to be successful.
Speaking of things that happen in Bij's head,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about the Mortal Kombat story.
Okay.
So this story is talking about that it is Mortal Kombat's 30th anniversary. It's
Isn't it
weird the way
everyone?
it's the 30th anniversary of all these games.
Funny that.
Yeah, why
it's-
is Sonic not in
it's
Mortal
like-
Kombat yet?
It's like a bunch of really popular games came out at around the same time.
Yeah.
Well, it's like video games all kind of just boomed at the same time too.
And we haven't come up with any original ideas in 30 years. So they're coming out with a new Mortal Kombat game, which is like yay, but it's not Mortal Kombat 12, although that is theoretically in the works.
Sure.
But this is Mortal Kombat. What's it called?
Onslaught.
Onslaught. And it is not only is it an RPG, which to be fair, there has been at least one Mortal Kombat RPG-ish game
Yes.
in the past. It was really weird and nobody liked it.
Yes.
So does it run like Shaq Fu?
Maybe they see this one's mobile though. So it's a mobile RPG and it's a mobile collection RPG, which I didn't realize was like a its own genre until I saw that, and then I was like, oh, I guess I understand what that means.
Sure.
It's like
Alright.
a gacha RPG.
Okay.
It's like a collecting characters.
Yeah. How do I
Yeah.
say this without saying the words gotcha?
Yeah. So, and for massive real-time group battles, which sounds very different from what Mortal Kombat usually is.
Yes, which is just a 1v1 fight to see who controls the outworld.
Although massive, massive group battles do happen in cutscenes in Mortal Kombat
Fair.
between especially in the later the more recent Mortal Kombat games, the extensive story that happens between all the fights.
Right.
NetherRealm Studios it was sort of I don't know if they were the if they're like the first people to do it, but they've gone the deepest into putting weirdly large amount of story
Right.
into the fighting games.
It's-
For whatever reason, it can't just be it's a fighting tournament. A bunch of people have to fight each other.
Yeah, it's like Dark Souls in that it's kind of like if you want to know what's going on in the game, you have to pay a lot of attention and read between the lines.
Yeah, and if you,
know,
if
And we
you
have to
die in the
skip
middle of the fight,
cutscenes
you
and
gotta go back for your stuff.
Yeah.
We have to come up with a plausible plot reason
Yeah.
why characters who would normally be friends
Yeah.
are now fighting each other.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people won't get into the game. People won't understand what's
It'll
happening.
just take you completely out of the game if you see them fighting and you know that they're besties.
Yeah,
I hope
besties don't fight.
Exactly.
I didn't know
Ever.
I didn't know that Shao Kahn
Shao Kahn.
has like a whole family, has like a wife and kids, and also technically one of his kids is a construct, and then also like he also makes other constructs, and it's kind of like this is very unusual. I had no idea this was like as
It's
detailed.
I mean,
it's the like they're like the outward equivalent of like the Kardashians.
Yeah, I guess
They're like
yeah.
the famous family that everyone wants to hang out with.
Yeah.
it's like when you hang out with your friends and you kind of just don't picture them having any family whatsoever until one day they mention something and you're just like, what? You have parents?
Yeah. There's a lot of like internal drama and stuff. Anyway,
It's fun.
so the inherent joke in this is yay, new Mortal Kombat game, or except it'll probably kind of be dumb and people are very disappointed. It's the excitement level graph sort of goes like
So, I mean,
off the
okay.
Yeah.
I know it's a mobile game.
yeah.
And a lot of mobile games, especially when the gacha section and
Right.
and stuff are not great. There are some very good mobile games. I personally dislike the perception that just because it's on mobile, means it's trash,
Yeah.
because that's not really true
No.
of the platform. But every game I've seen come out in the last year or so has been people being like, "Oh, I'm excited." But I don't know. I could be disappointed in everything.
Yeah.
I might be disappointed. I might really be disappointed. And then the game comes out, and about a day later, everyone's like, "Oh, this is the best thing in the world." And I don't know if it would have mattered if this was if this was not a mobile game.
I think it's not so much that you can't have good mobile games. Of course, there are lots of good mobile games. It's when they're like announcing a new game in a franchise, and it's a mobile game, right? Because there's the perception that the mobile games are not like they're not like the real one. They're
Yeah,
like the
but
they're
if
like
this
the
had
little
been-
offshoot game.
If this had been the same thing, but like, okay, we're not making Mortal Kombat 12, but we're making this game, and it wasn't on mobile, I feel like it would still have had the same reaction.
Yeah.
It just
It's like it's Mortal Kombat Bejeweled.
if it had been more of a thing where it was
I'd play that.
to me because it's like
Mortal Kombat Pictocross.
Yeah.
When you complete a line, it goes like "Bwah!" and smashes
Oh,
it.
there's some really, really cool pick cross games.
like Pokemon has that 5v5 team fighter thing. With Pokemon Unite, is that what they're calling it?
Yes,
Yes. Okay.
It's like a
it's a MOBA.
It's a MOBA. Yeah, it's a League of Legends. It's,
okay, I thought
yeah.
it was more like an auto chess thing.
I'm not sure. Maybe it is more like that.
I'm not really familiar
Whatever
with
it
auto
is.
chess.
Okay.
Yeah. So what it but that kind of idea, like to me, it's like that doesn't have to be a gotcha filled whatever. You know, but it is like you can get more characters. There are ways to do that,
Right.
And the game is free for mobile, which means there are things within it that mean that you can monetize it. But it's not a collection RPG. And like the fact that that's the kind of the moment they put the word collection in it, I was like, this is going to be a lot like Fire Emblem Heroes, isn't it? Where you you can always get more characters, but if you want to do that, you're going to have to spend a lot of money if you want to try to get a lot of characters fast, because you're going to have to like spin and spin and spin and spin. Like just the idea of when they said it's an RPG, I'm like, oh, that's an interesting idea. Oh, it's collection RPG. Ah, shit. Because
Yeah.
you know by adding that word,
It's
this
the-
is what the monetization path is.
It's but the excitement is like it's like new game, yay, mobile game, RPG,
Yeah.
collection RPG.
and by and large it's like if they had gone with this is a 5v5 MOBA type thing, everyone's got their own abilities, you start with a team, you can play a lot, you can do whatever, you can unlock other characters as you go through like achievements and whatever else. It's like, okay, so then you're going to charge what, like $3 for it, $4 for it, maybe? Like you start there, and then maybe you have in-app purchases to do some other things. But it's like, no, you just started with the hard hit of it's a collection RPG. You all have to get them out of their
guess.
combat balls, I guess. Like,
I guess at least they're not pretending.
yeah, there is that. You know, give them props for being straight up with us.
I love TXT2 just gave me an amazing idea. Mortal Kombat tower defense game.
Oh yeah,
That'd be neat.
that's kind of cool.
You know, Sub-Zero's your ice tower.
yeah,
You can just recruit guys and then like put them in different spots along. You got like Scorpion doing the spear throw thing. You got guys doing fireballs. Like you could do a whole like thing.
I mean, I wouldn't-
there's basically all the abilities of all the different guys have tower equivalents.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a mobile commercial for a Mortal Kombat tower defense where they show pictures of it, but then they
it's
show the
actually-
gameplay, and it's just still the same game that's in every other.
Oh, it's like
Commercial I see.
one of those like
I've seen.
crappy
I
mobile
swear.
things?
I
Yeah.
swear. I've seen them advertise Final Fantasy versions of this, but then when they go to show the gameplay, it's definitely not Final Fantasy.
Anyway, and the important part about this story, of course, is that when Beige wrote it, for whatever reason,
There was an important part to this story.
he decided to.
This, yes.
He decided to write it with the case in thing. Here, let me
Hit the zoom button.
let me zoom in here so you can see it properly.
Yep.
He even did whatever this says. What gotcha?
Yeah. Yeah, that's gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Also, the little notes on the side here. Good luck, and I cheated.
Yep.
I cheated.
I heated. So the whole point, I was even going to try to find a link that didn't have a C in it.
Oh, just looks like the stream just crashed briefly,
Okay.
but we're back.
Well, I mean, it looks like people are saying refresh for stream. We're probably
Huh,
fine.
weird.
Oh, it wobbled. Interesting.
I'm going to assume that's a...
All right. Well, if people can see me, then that's fine. So the comments are funny because people are like, "Oh, so you just did a find and replace for the letter C." I'm like, I want you to read. I want you to like sit down and listen to it again, the whole thing, and realize that there's only one word in there. Like as gotcha I spelled in Japanese because I'm like, well, because I can get away with that. But there's only one word in there that has a soft C in it. And you might think, well, so what? And I'm like, well, it's a lot harder to, it's like saying, please write me a sentence that doesn't have the letter E. Great. Now write me an entire book that doesn't have the letter E in it.
Right.
And it's this,
You don't really think about it, and then you're like, hey, wait, there's actually a ton of words that are.
yep.
You're explaining this as if somebody gave you this script, though, and you
No.
did this to yourself and you didn't have to.
I started writing and I'm like, can I do this whole thing without actually using a soft C? Because then I can use hard Ks for the whole thing. And I
stop
kept going.
tapping this.
I kept going and going and going, and I stumbled on a couple of words. I got till I typed witch, and I was like, I can't use witch. So how am I going to do this? Well, I'll have to restructure the whole sentence so it actually doesn't use the word witch.
Wicca.
And I did that over and over. And so I was like, I have to use cinematic because they literally quote that as a cinematic story experience. I had to take the word experience out because experience wouldn't have, people been like, what the hell is he doing? But I'm like, kinematic is a real word. So if I say kinematic story, people will be like, that's a weird word to use there. Hey, wait, hang on a second.
Some people in the comments were like, I was briefly like excited when you said it was a kinematic story.
Yeah.
And then I realized what you were doing. Mm-hmm. The excitement level.
Yeah, I mean, it's not uncommon for Beach to write a story on ChillPoint, getting everyone excited about a thing that isn't actually that.
Yeah. A little of that ENN energy comes along. Hello.
Alrighty, let's talk about
The most magical place.
patch notes.
Oh, yeah.
Patch notes.
I think these are some excellent patch notes. I mean, other than like The Sims usually has great patch notes.
Oh, yes. I love the Sim patch notes.
Yeah, I mean,
Those are
you know,
fantastic.
patch notes are always there's often very good stuff in patch notes. And these Disney Dreamlight Valley patch notes were also excellent. Now, Heather, you've been playing Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Yeah, I've been streaming it. at home.
How long have you been playing it?
About, let's see, I started on like Wednesday. 5 days.
Okay, so you probably didn't reap the benefit, like you didn't see before these patches and after these patches. I don't think.
Not really. No.
Also, you're playing it on Switch,
I am playing it on Switch.
despite it being early access on PC.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's early access everywhere, Beach. I don't think.
It's just that they're not on the Switch. They're not saying this is an early access game that we're making it.
That
It's like the game is available and there'll be updates.
That would require me to have read the page on which I bought it from. No,
I feel
don't
like
know.
I feel like despite Disney's size, I'm sure they couldn't get. Well, it's whoever it is actually doing it for Disney. I'm sure they couldn't get Nintendo to agree to, hey, let us put this buggy ass beta piece of shit on your eShop for sale. I'm sure they would not have been able to do that.
I find it weird that you're
Does-
getting angry about an early access thing just because.
I'm not
Does-
getting
does-
angry about it. I just think it's weird that
Switch doesn't have a like game preview or early thing.
don't think they have
They
anything
do
like
demos.
that. Yeah,
They
that's
do
about
demos.
it.
But like,
I think it's surprising that it's like, on the one hand, on the PC side, it qualifies as early access, but when it comes out for consoles, it's like we can't technically do that.
again, I don't know how it's being advertised on consoles. it could be at early access there too.
It would
as
be-
far as I
I
understand.
just think it
As
would be
far as I
weird that
understand
it would
The whole
be.
thing is early access, and I find you're getting really like pedantic.
I think it's really interesting. That's all. I'm not mad about it. I'm just like, that's kind of surprising to me that would be, that they're like, we're willing to put this out, and we can't call it that, but we need it out on the platform. So
I mean, the term early access for me has no meaning whatsoever.
Fair.
Have you seen how games come out? Although this game is in early access, it looks pretty much polished and ready to go to me. I don't know
other
why
than
you're
photo
calling
mode.
it that. What?
Other than photo mode.
Okay, I mean, we'll get to that.
Yes.
If you let us
I'm
get
gonna
to
let-
like the patch notes and
I will
things.
stop talking.
Mr. I don't understand why they won't call it this thing.
It's funny actually. I'm just looking at the actual Nintendo page for this, and yeah, Nintendo doesn't have a normal designator for game Xbox Game Pass calls it like game preview. Sometimes early access or is on Steam is usually early access. But what I love about this is in the description, rather than being like warning this game is in early access, it's actually a feature, a game in constant evolution.
Yeah.
New content means that there's always something fresh to explore. Meet new characters, check out the latest clothing and furniture, complete challenging in-game events.
And Maricat does say that on Disney's website, they say it's early access for all versions. Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've been doing stuff. So stuff about tableware being selected properly. Campfires make noise, which is probably good, so you don't like walk into the fire.
Well, I mean, I doubt you can. But I haven't made a fire yet, so I haven't tried that.
Donald Duck will have shorter tantrums, which apparently some people in the comments are like, could we just have Donald Duck not have tantrums? They're the worst thing ever. And Ursula is easier to talk to now, because apparently she avoided people before.
I couldn't find her before.
Apparently, though, she just shows up in any body of water sometimes.
Yes, that's weird.
Right.
She
Wait.
just pops into what looks like tiny puddles. Really, they're I think they're technically ponds.
You just run a bath and oh Jesus.
Oh, that would be funny. Oh, I would love to put a bathtub in someone's house and have her just pop up in there. That would be fantastic. Yeah.
Characters were fishing the wrong way, which Heather, you were saying that is
Okay,
not
so-
technically fixed.
So this is what I've run
Depending
into
how-
playing this game. I've had
But how judgy you are about fishing, I guess.
Well, because it doesn't say what they mean by that. I thought they just meant that maybe Goofy didn't do the perfect cast properly.
Right. Yeah.
Which I've seen. I'm pretty sure I've seen him do. But yeah, yesterday, the day before. No, I think it was yesterday because I was playing this while we were doing the live meeting. Mickey walked into the ocean, sat down facing the beach, and then started fishing.
So fishing towards the beach.
Yeah.
That seems like a political statement.
Was his head underwater?
No, he was sitting on top of the water. He wasn't super deep in the water. He
was floating on top of the water.
You know, Disney's always been pretty low key about their idea that Mickey is just Jesus, but it's nice to see they're coming really out with it.
I mean,
now.
he's a magician.
Yeah.
Canonically.
I've had that.
That is fair. Yeah.
I've had occasionally the audio kind of starts cutting in and out. The song will sound like it's skipping a little bit, and I'm not sure if something bad's about to happen with the game because it's just that doesn't seem quite right. The worst thing I've had happen is the photo mode
which was
thing.
not addressed in this
No,
patch.
and I would really like them to fix this one. My chat's been calling it the shutter bug, where it doesn't seem to happen every time I take a photo. But if the game's been running long enough, because I've been trying to take photos after I've been playing for so long just to see if I can find it. But
QA testing.
The worst one I've had happen was I go into photo mode, I take a photo, the camera flashes, and then everything stays completely white. except for my sunglasses shades parts are floating around kind of on their own perfectly colored
So
thing.
it's like the world, it flashes and like the entire world flashes away in the flash.
It's all white, and then you can kind of make out some background things.
It's like every single thing that's there basically is now completely robbed of color. So it's all white on white objects.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and the first time I had it do it that way, it immediately crashed and errored out of the game. The last time I had it do it that way, I was able to get out of photo mode and walk around a little bit.
Yeah, and
I brought up the menus, which were all fine because they're clearly on their own layer too.
Yeah.
And then it crashed.
Yeah. Well, it
But
crashed
the important
after
thing
you...
is it saved that time, and I didn't have to redo that part.
You were in photo mode. You were able to get out of photo mode. You could walk around, open menus and whatnot. But the moment you went back into photo mode is when it crashed.
No, I didn't go
you
into
didn't go back
photos.
in, okay.
I just opened a menu.
Okay.
Yeah, you can if you go check out my streams over at twitch.tv/LunarJade, you can find some of these wonderful
Yeah,
moments.
she has logged all the bugs on her Twitch stream.
Right. If you
Yeah.
are a Disney Dreamlight Valley developer, check that out for some bug testing.
And be sure to send her a bounty for that.
Yeah. I love the idea that it's like, it's like a flashbang. It's like you were holding the camera the wrong way around and you just flashed yourself in the eyes and now you're blind.
I wonder what would happen if it did it again and you were able to get out of photo mode and just stood there and you're like, okay, let's just not touch it for like 5 minutes and see if it actually comes back on its own, if it figures its own shit out.
Maybe I haven't had it happen again, so I haven't had a
That's a relief.
chance to really like push it yet.
Did we have any other patch notes?
Oh
sorry,
yes,
that was the last
big
one.
the big one was that Mickey's eyes no longer they have fixed Mickey's eyes, which apparently, and there was sort of a meme about this, that Mickey would he didn't blink, and his eyes just followed you around, and with that smile that
Right.
it doesn't take much for someone staring at you and smiling to go from like a happy thing to a slightly disturbing thing.
It's true.
And also he like follows you in certain circumstances, like if you're doing a quest and stuff, he'll just be like following you everywhere.
I'm going to do something very unfair to the audience. This is a picture my friend Az sent me of Ursula's head just coming out of the ground and being stuck in the ground on herself.
Oh, that's so good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You got corralled by Mickey in during one of
Oh
your
yeah,
things.
in my first stream of the game, Mickey sat down on a chair while I was
in a corner.
definitely just taking some stuff out of a chest in his house in a corner, and I could not leave the corner
Because his legs stuck out enough.
His feet were blocking me, and he would not get up.
And then he did.
Eventually, he did. Thankfully, I thought I was going to have to quit.
You were trying to
the game.
steal
got
stuff
up.
from him, and he like blocked you
That
in.
chest was open, and the game let me take it. I don't think that's stealing.
But then he
If the game lets you pick it up, you're supposed to
mine.
pick it up.
he got out of his chair, and you're like, "Oh, good, thank God!" And he went and he sat back down
well,
again.
because I talked to him, thinking if I could get him, he'd stand up to talk to me, and then he'd like leave.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool, this will work now. And then he sat back down after I was done talking to him.
It's like you have some
He knew.
you have some things to pay for here.
He knew.
Yeah. So they've given him specular highlights, is my understanding. Is that there's like little white circles they've drawn onto his eyes so that it actually doesn't look like they're dead anymore.
And he blinks.
And he blinks, which is
Something
probably
like
good. So I guess we'll see if there's more patch updates for it. But it sounds like it's a pretty fun game though.
Oh,
like,
I've been enjoying it.
considering
immensely.
considering its source is sort of like a marketing tie-in thing.
I
it's
will
surprisingly
say
good.
that they like the characters will constantly say lines while you're walking around, and so you'll hear like hot dog and whatever. But my favorite is Maui, because he's just like constantly saying you're welcome.
whenever you walk past him.
Yep.
Oh, welcome.
Just seems pretty.
I wonder if they're actually like they got the people to record the lines, or whether they're just like using the things from the movies.
The last time I walked past him, he said, "Hey, if you see Moana, you tell her you're welcome." And I'm like, "No, I'm not getting involved with this."
You see Moana, tell her I know what she did.
Yeah. For anyone who's not aware, it's the best way to describe it is kind of an Animal Crossing alike, but it's still not quite there. It's got a faster loop of mechanics and stuff if you're not into the slower pace of once a day.
Like
And lots of-
Harvestella without combat.
And lots of sort of customizing your character and your living space and that kind of stuff. And like rather than just like going and farming, the farming is like a thing tied to a particular Disney character or whatever. Like each thing is sort of connected to a particular Disney character, right?
No, not like that. They have their likes and their dislikes, and you make friends with them and stuff. Like there's some of it is tied. Like Remy runs a restaurant,
Right.
but like I think any of them can farm, technically.
Okay, I thought it was like you go like Wally and he does the farming. And then
Well,
you go to-
Wally definitely has a farming quest that I haven't finished yet.
You can cook. Can you farm?
Oh, cooking's fun.
I'm glad
uh,
that Remy gets to like have a restaurant where he doesn't have to like hide. He can actually be like, because I mean, in the context of the Disney universe,
Yeah.
a rat making food is like not that big. Like you know,
It's
it's
a-
not that big a deal.
Yeah, it's like he can be out and proud.
There's a storyline that's like, oh, the forgetting is here, and now none of us remembers what we're supposed to be doing.
Right.
And
So
you get
nobody
rid of-
remembers who's a bad guy and who's a good
Yeah,
guy.
and nobody remembers like what they were even, where they're from or anything like that. And you're kind of rescuing people or inviting them to your fun little valley. I will say though, okay, are you familiar with how like Stardew Valley starts?
Yeah, with like you
storyline.
like quitting your job.
Yeah, you
and
quit your job and you go out and you take over a family farm kind of thing, and a lot of games of that kind of genre will start that way, right? It's like, oh, you've inherited a farm, or
Right,
no
right.
more work. Dreamlight Valley starts with you also leaving the city because you don't want to be in the city anymore or something, and you go back to a place where you had fond memories, and it's the middle of the woods with a bunch of stuff that looks kind of like toys sort of broken down, and you're sitting there and you decide to take a nap, and then in your dreams you wake up in Dreamlight Valley, so it's an isekai, and also you're basically just sleeping in the middle of the woods this entire time, and I don't think you get to wake up ever again.
Oh.
I mean, you don't get to do that in Isekai either.
Well, no, it's when you beat the whatever, like when you win the isekai, when you then you go back to.
Oh, not all of them, Paul. Not all of them. No, yeah, you died in the woods.
I'm just saying.
So the entirety of Disney Dreamlight Valley takes place in that several seconds before complete brain death.
Yeah,
As you are freezing to death in the forest.
I mean, I'm pretty
you're
sure.
in a dream, and all of the characters, the reason they have all the sparkles on them is because they're literally made out of dream light. They are not real.
Yeah.
Nothing you were
that
doing
also
is real.
that also covers them for like anything that happens in Disney Dreamlight Valley is not a canonical Disney thing. That's just something that happened in your brain.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
bring Kingdom Hearts into it already.
Oh, God.
I want a Keyblade item that I can run around with.
I'm sure you'll get one. Like, I'm sure Disney, like Donald and Goofy will somehow manifest some sort of.
So I was talking to Mickey, and Mickey brought up basically the Musketeers cartoon that they
Right,
did,
yeah.
and he was like, "Oh yeah, me and Donald and Goofy did whatever," and I was just like, "Wait, is Kingdom Hearts just the Musketeers, but like Sora's D'Artagnan?"
Kind of.
Yeah, okay.
I understand Kingdom Hearts now.
Great. I'm glad somebody does. Now he can make a video telling everybody. There won't be enough of those on the internet.
I can keep going if you don't move on.
Speaking of dark, scary woods, Silent Hill.
Oh, yeah.
There's probably dark,
There's
scary
probably
woods in
woods
there.
on the hills. Yeah, sure, why
Literally
not?
forgot what this story was about.
It's because the story. I mean, the way was presented was largely about how Beej didn't actually read the story or watch the thing. So this is the there's this Silent Hill event, which is called Silent Hill Transmission. Where they were Konami was talking about a bunch of new Silent Hill stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Including a new movie, a remake of Silent Hill 2, two new Silent Hill games, one called Silent Hill Townfall, one called Silent Hill F. F.
And then a bunch of
Silent Hill F it.
a bunch of merchandise.
Various pieces of merchandise.
Yeah.
So,
Well, is it an F or is it like that musical F? Is it a rhythm game?
They drew it with a lowercase f, and it is a mainline series
it
game.
does
Unfortunately,
look like kind of like a fancy F.
Because Hatsune Miku has a game that's like called F.
Yeah.
Like that, and so I need to know if this is a rhythm game.
I don't think it has the tail on it, so I don't think it's like an F whole F.
Okay.
Yeah.
Musical Silent Hill. I want to hear Pyramids.
Don't you wanna
Pyramid
hear-
Head's aria
Don't you want to hear the music?
singing about how sad he is.
Don't you want to hear the music in the hills, Paul?
Holy shit!
The hills are alive.
The hills are silent.
Are they?
Like I think
the
it.
sun.
I mean,
Sound
Konami
of
was silent
staff.
for a long time on this property. That's true.
I have to say that if it is like Silent Hill Forte, like people are saying, I'm like, that's like how loud the sound of silence is not a bad way to like theme a game. Like that would be pretty good. So, yeah, I won't be playing it
Oh, goodness.
or even going near it.
So this is, I mean, again, talking, behind the scenes. This was sort of an interesting story for me to do graphics for, because again, Beej wrote this story while I was asleep, and then I did was doing the graphics while he was asleep. And I sort of started being like, okay, the Silent Hill logo, Silent Hill, da 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 da. And then I started reading the stuff, and goes into, and the joke, the premise of the thing is that Beej is doing this stuff, but he was too scared to actually watch the video thing, so some of it is not right, which is funny. It's
Yeah.
good. It's
No, it's
Solid thing.
this is
A solid
good
comedic
story.
premise.
But the problem was, I also didn't watch the video thing, not because I was too scared of it, but because I didn't want to spend like 2 hours or an hour watching it or
Yeah.
whatever.
It was an hour long.
And I'm not particularly interested in
A lot to announce.
Silent Hill.
Yeah, but
I don't know if it's an hour long, but however long it was, it
Okay.
was too long.
Yeah.
not fair.
So I didn't know which parts Beej was joking about and which parts were real. Which, we used to be, when we were doing ENN, used to be like a problem that people complained about, was that like, what's the joke? Or like, which parts is real? Which part's the joke? Which usually for an ENN story was really easy it annoyed me because it was really easy to figure out, because it was like setup and then like real thing and then punchline, real thing, then punchline.
Yeah.
Like, it was really straightforward. For this, so it turns out that actually almost everything that you talked about is real.
Yeah.
But like, for instance, he says standalone figures of two characters from Silent Hill, James Sutherland and Mario from Silent Hill 2. No word on whether the Mario statue is going to be voiced by Chris Pratt. I searched around, and there aren't any, like, as far as I could tell, there was no images that I could find or info I could find on stand characters, like standees of characters from Silent Hill
Yeah.
of James Sutherland. And I didn't know, I haven't played Silent Hill 2, so I didn't know that Mario was a real person from Silent Hill 2.
Right.
Beej obviously is known as being a fan of all things Nintendo. And so I was assuming that that was a joke. So I got what's in the video is a fan-made statue of James Sutherland that was like on somebody was like selling on Etsy.
Yeah.
Because there aren't, as far as I could tell, there weren't any real,
Figurines.
any
yeah,
official
okay.
figurines of James Sutherland, and just a
one of the Lego Mario things.
thing.
Yeah.
Again, I couldn't find any official things, which is funny, and I think it's like fine for the story, but turns out is actually not like there actually apparently are figurines coming out.
Yes.
Of the like those are real characters and there are figurines coming out of them. There just aren't any pictures of them out yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. They didn't show anything off for it,
Yeah.
probably, so no one has pictures showing
Yeah,
up
they're
in
just
the
like
thing.
there's
Yeah.
high-end versions of high-end statues.
Whereas the dog plush, because I didn't watch any of that either, but when I saw the picture of the dog plush show up, it was like, oh, that's where that's from. Okay, I've seen this picture floating around.
Again, and that was one was like, again, I assumed it was a joke. And then I searched for it and I was like, wait, there actually is a dog plush. There actually is the weird joke ending of Silent Hill 2.
It's like I knew about the joke ending because I've seen the joke ending because YouTube, you know how the algorithm is. Nobody knows how the algorithm is. But yeah, I couldn't. There was nothing on the page that showed you the dog plush. There was just video trailers for Silent Hill, and I'm like, I could watch these, but it is 3 a.m. and I don't want to watch these.
Yeah,
Like
no, that's
that
fair.
part is legit. I didn't want to look at any of that stuff before I had to go to bed. And I was like, this is really funny, but I am doing a terrible disservice to Paul, who's going to have to go looking for all this shit in the morning. Oh, well.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say, you had that idea
Yep.
and yet didn't, do anything to mitigate that.
I couldn't. It was the wrong time of day.
Beach, aware of his actions, does them anyway.
Yeah.
Although I will say, I mean, one thing that people mentioned in the comments, I think partially in a joking fashion because they were assuming you were also joking, which I'm assuming also, but I don't know.
Let's find out.
Do you know that there have been at least two previous Silent Hill movies?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do know that. But if I was unfamiliar with the series and also with horror movies in general, I would assume that this is the first time it's getting a movie.
Right. And the movie is called Return to Silent Hill, which is a dumb name if it was the first movie.
Exactly.
But again, so yeah, this was one of those stories where I myself didn't know which was true and which wasn't, and Beach was asleep, so I couldn't ask him before I did the graphics.
Which also is weird because I think that is the theme of the Silent Hill games.
You being asleep while Paul does the graphics? That's a theme of the Silent Hill games, and you didn't tell me?
The only thing that I would say is that I was a little disappointed in is I wish I had better graphics for the last bit where where you admit that you're done. I was like, this would be great if we had like a shot of Beige like scared on his computer or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or
and I
like
was
a series of clips from my computer capturing me doing all these things.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I
I was
mean,
like,
those-
that would be cool. But
Honestly, those sound like some photos that we could probably use on a reoccurring basis. So we should
Maybe we should just
we should take some
Yeah.
stock
I mean-
images.
Of me running into walls.
if you're on the Loading Ready Run Discord, you may have seen, early on Thursday mornings, occasionally I'll post and be like, "Hey, Loading Ready Run Discord, can anybody find a picture of, or a nice screenshot of Beige sleeping or Beige doing something?" And they're often very, very, very useful. And they come up the Loading Ready Run fan hive mind can be very useful in sourcing out, because obviously there's been so many crap shots and all the different videos and stuff. So maybe there is in some video we've done somewhere a picture of Beige like you working on the computer in the dark or something.
Oh,
Right.
there's probably a couple of those. Sometimes I've done that as well, where when I'm working on an editing thing and I'm like, I don't have time to find that. I'll ask someone and I'll work on something else while I wait to see if something comes up, and then I'll check the thing. And it is what I've asked for, but it doesn't actually work for what I want because it has like maybe some other stuff in there I can't really work around. But I do think it would benefit all of Lure for all of us to get some stock images of many different things of us being scared or really happy and some other stuff. Just in
like
case.
stock emotion. Yeah. I actually
Just in case.
the other thing that I ended up just using like hands on a keyboard or something as sort of a generic image that I think, it worked fine, but it could have been funnier with the other thing, but whatever.
We could get you a stock image of me laughing at Beach, I'm sure.
That I feel like that would come up quite useful.
Just if you needed it.
Yeah. Heather did say that she did not wake up and laugh at Beige, although if that had happened, she probably would have.
I
laughed.
definitely would have if I had woken up.
And saw me laying on the floor.
Well, after asking if you were okay, and then you point at the screen and it'd be like, and
I
then
see
I'd
what has
laugh,
happened, yeah.
But it's not funny to add in that middle bit.
What is a wave dash? How do you wave dash out of your chair?
Well, I was trying to. I would assume it's you get your guard up, but then you have to double tap forward to get out of your chair, but then keep putting your guard up so you're not looking at the screen.
I assumed it's defending from the screen, but also running away.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
Anyone who plays Smash Brothers will know what a wave dash is. I don't. So I was like, I could say I dashed out of my chair. I'm like, no, I wave dashed out of my chair. That's even
you want to
funnier.
use the gamer terminology.
People really liked the fact that I was wave dashing.
Yeah.
Jump and dash diagonally down into your carpet. That's good. I like that.
And then the coming up, we're talking about Netflix saying that they are they have opened another gaming studio.
Yeah.
Which is like their 6th or something.
What?
Yeah. And they are looking into cloud gaming,
Good for them.
which, the timing, great.
Well,
I mean, they know stuff about making things work in the cloud.
I don't even.
But still.
Do we have Netflix gaming in Canada?
We do.
We do. I don't.
Not to chill for Netflix or whatever.
Sure.
But if you have Netflix already, you owe it to yourself to on your mobile device check out there are like serious banger games. Spiritfarer, what's it called? Oh, darn it. I can't remember all the games. But anyway, for whatever reason, Netflix has purchased various companies and purchased the licenses to a bunch of like seriously actually good games, legit games you should get for free.
But
they're forming a library.
Is it like the Netflix gaming app?
No, it's they're just all. I mean, at least on iOS, they are just all games in the App Store, under Netflix as a developer, and you just have to sign in to the game with your Netflix account to actually.
it's like Apple
So
Arcade.
you have to download the game. You
just download the game as normal.
So you have to know what the game is that Netflix has, and then download it.
Or you can just look at all games by Netflix.
Okay.
I think in the Netflix app there is also like a place to go that you can see where the games are.
Okay.
They have a catalog for them.
But it's not very well shown.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't.
Oh yeah,
like,
Oxenfree is in there.
I heard that Netflix was doing games
And Into the Breach is in there as well.
ages ago, but I couldn't figure out where to find them, or if we had them
Exactly. Yeah.
or anything,
Yeah.
and I still can't figure
Because
it out.
I watch Netflix only on our TV.
I used it on the iPad,
Yeah.
but I don't understand. Like, I just feel like if gaming is your thing, then why can't I figure out where your games are?
But not a bad way.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not a separate app.
If you're already subscribed to Netflix, the idea of just like go to that and try out this whole cloud gaming thing.
See, it goes like, here's all the things you can watch. Here's all the things you can watch, and then there's like, hey, Netflix games.
Never seen that.
Buried
tab.
at the bottom.
Yeah. There's a Stranger Things. I mean, some of them are. There's like a Stranger Things game, which makes sense. But then,
sure.
But it's like Spiritfarer, Oxenfree, Wonder Putt. This is a true story. Yeah.
And they're all
Into the Breach, Before Your Eyes.
They're all free to play as long as you have a subscription.
Yeah, they're free as long as you have a Netflix account.
Neato.
Moonlighter.
I liked Moonlighter.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a bunch of games. Again, I don't think it's worth getting a Netflix subscription for that, and I'm not saying you should, but
I mean, if
It's
it's,
like
if it's
a-
a thing you already have,
it's like Amazon.
It's a thing to check
It's like
out.
if you've got Amazon Prime, you might as well be getting free games from Amazon Prime because you get free games every month.
And so the thing is that Netflix is like, oh, this cloud gaming thing is certainly working out for a lot of different people. So let's make another studio.
Yeah, cloud gaming. That's the thing that everyone's been really getting into
Yeah.
successfully lately.
Good luck to them for that.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Maybe they'll stick with it. I mean, if this is their 6th studio, they're starting to kind of be developing cloud games, and I mean, they're a company that we had that talk about. Who's going to be better at cloud gaming, cloud companies or gaming companies, right?
Yeah.
There's a brief talk where I was like, I think that companies that are focused on the gaming side, and in which case I'm like, the entertainment side then even there too, are going to be more, their offerings are going to be more interesting to people than companies that are more on the cloud side. And Xbox occupies a very interesting collision between the two, because Microsoft does Azure and they're very much in the cloud thing, but Xbox is very much about, obviously gaming and entertainment. So it's like, it feels like whatever Xbox has been doing is being able to benefit from having access to both of those kind of things. Now, Netflix being an entertainment company and having to being the pinnacle of the cloud streaming company, and then having other companies come in and start eating their lunch and they're like, oh shit, we better do something about this. Feels like, I think them being hungry to actually make a difference might actually result in Netflix gaming being a really interesting
Netflix gaming,
service.
sure. Netflix gaming, cloud-based, uncertain.
Yeah.
While I agree that you need the games that will drive people to a service to exist there, because hardware does not sell without software in that case.
Yeah.
I don't think we're at, and I mean, maybe there are enough people with a high enough internet that it's worth it for them. I don't know what their levels of success actually are at, but not everybody has good enough internet. There's just cloud gaming in general, I don't think works well enough with the technology that's out there to enough people for it to be a thing yet.
I mean, if you think about like when you sometimes, if you watch a Netflix show, most of the time it's fine, but sometimes it goes a little wonky. It goes, the quality jumps down and up, and pauses and different weird things happen. So the tolerances for gaming versus just like watching a movie are a lot stricter.
Yeah, and I mean,
can't cache a lot. You can't, a lot of that kind of stuff is tricky.
but at least part of what Netflix has been doing, because the whole like, we want to avoid people having to get movies from our primary servers, and they've been doing that thing where it's like, we go to ISPs and we say, please let us shove a Netflix acceleration device essentially into your ISP racks. And so then, in come a whole bunch of like, here's the hottest movies and the latest TV shows, and everything else is kind of flying in here to be like, this is the stuff people are watching, so we're gonna cache it close to multiple locations in all sorts of places around the world. And I'm like, if they decide to go really hard into cloud gaming, it's like they already have a foot in the door at multiple ISPs to be doing stuff like that.
But a video preloads so much while you're watching it, and is not a thing based on what your actions are. And while there are games that allow you, like, have that kind of, we expect you to do certain things, so we load certain things in, I just don't think it's there.
Right, but I think because you don't have to do multiple hops to get to like wherever it is, wherever the main like area that the game is stored, it's like, no, it's actually just in the it's the distance between you and your closest ISP. It's like that might actually mitigate a lot of that trouble, because it's like you're not having to go hop to get to where the game is. You're going hop and then you're right at where the game is, and it's like there's less latency. That might actually improve the whole process.
Maybe, but we have pretty good internet at home and stuff still goes down.
True, yeah.
So I just don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, that's an indictment of cloud gaming as a whole.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'm saying for people who want to do cloud gaming, that it's like this might actually be a thing that is much more successful. we have to see what happens with it.
People who want to make cloud gaming happen, maybe. People who want to do it as a consumer, I just don't think they can, whether
Yeah.
they want to or not.
Unless, yeah, I mean,
It's going to be highly
certain,
viable depending on your internet.
yeah, there's certain people that it works well for, but who knows? We shall see. But for whatever reason, Netflix seems to be going big into video games, both cloud and not cloud, but also being weirdly not telling anybody about it.
No.
I mean, they might end up continuing to make games because they are still making games that are not necessarily cloud-based, and
Yeah.
so they could continue, whereas Stadia's whole thing was cloud-only.
Yeah, that's true.
So the
Having
moment they,
both options.
if they had both as a thing, they could have maybe axed one section and kept going. Yeah, those Google, so
Yeah. Well, yeah.
they like to just get rid of everything.
All right, let's talk about a couple stories that we didn't get to in the episode checkpoint. For instance, it's Halloween.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's
Yeah, Halloween month.
Halloween times.
It's Halloween the 23rd.
It's almost Christmas.
Which means that there's
Halloween
some
the 23rd.
special Halloween events going on in things like Fortnite,
Oh, goodness.
activating Fortnitemares.
I thought this was a completely different game when I saw the advertising for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, because the font's all wrong for Fortnite.
Okay.
And they're calling it Fortnitemares, and they're not calling it Fortnite, hey, here's the new event in Fortnite, Fortnitemares. They're just, hey, Fortnitemares is coming this Halloween. And I was like, oh, a new game. Fortnitemares, that's a neat title. Oh, is this Fortnite? Yeah.
They are adding, so they're basically doing an event that will allow werewolf abilities to be bestowed upon Fortnite characters. You go to the reality tree alteration altar, and you get the ritual emote, which unlocks the Howler Claws.
Oh, is that what I've been
And
doing
so
wrong
when
this
you-
entire
Like
time?
Santa Claus.
When you equip the Howler Claws, you
Wolf out?
Yeah, you wolf out. You've got the Howl ability,
Hello!
which activates wolf scent, which gives you tracking vision. You can put a mark on enemies and marks enemies in nearby radius. You get the slash ability. You also get the air slash ability,
Is the
which is the slash ability while jumping.
Oh,
That's good. That's it's a feature.
I don't know if that counts as two different abilities, but they say it's two.
The thing where you jump and then you slash down with both hands and
well,
your
I
legs go out.
assume it has more to do with AO3.
Yeah, air slash. Yeah.
That's like a whole subsection.
It's funny, right? Because wolf scent, I'm like, so you get a wolf scent, which means it's like I smell like a wolf. It's like, no, you have.
It's more like
Socratic method says, it's a wolf nose is what you get.
Yeah.
You can smell things very well, including
Through
your
howling.
enemies. Yeah.
when
through
you
howling.
howl, you
can
can
smell things better.
smell things. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of reading the thing is kind of neat because it's like it means that you can mark enemies, and then as long as the ability is active, like before it cools down, or not before it cools down, but while it is active, it means that you'll be able to track them. And I'm like, boy, when it's a lot of people wolfing out on a Fortnite map and they're all able to track each other, that's going to make for from very fast games.
That might be fun.
Yeah, I think so.
Apparently, you also get a notification if somebody else has been is starting to track you.
Which I think is fun too. Yeah,
Seems fair.
yeah.
So that's cool. Fortnitemares.
You don't have a gun, I don't think. I think you just have your claws at that point. I think you're giving up something to do that.
Well, it's like the claws are like a weapon.
They're a
you
weapon,
equip
yeah.
instead of your gun. I think is the
Okay.
idea.
Yeah, I mean, if you tried to, I know you don't grow your nails out, but when you try to do things with longer nails,
It's harder
in this case,
hold a gun.
claws, you're just gonna break
Just
things.
wolf paws.
Either your nails or the thing you're trying to hold.
This means is everybody's got beans now.
So, people have made all sorts of cool things in all sorts of like spiffy futuristic worlds
Yes.
in No Man's Sky.
Mm-hmm.
You can take over a planet and do whatever you want, build bases and all sorts of cool things. One guy decided to build a big section of Guildford in a small English town
Outside of London.
in No Man's Sky. Mm-hmm. So you come down in your spaceship, and here, let me switch to the thing here.
You might wonder why Guildford. It's because there's a lot of game developers there, including Hello Games.
Oh. I didn't actually know that. So, so this...
As you
No
can
ground
see,
there.
it's
It's a perfectly normal...
Yeah.
heating costs a lot in the UK
Well, I
for
mean,
that reason.
Considering the kinds of architecture that you normally have in No Man's Sky, this is very impressive.
Absolutely.
these pop-in graphics are exactly what happens to me when I walk along the street.
It's true. Why do you think it's so foggy in England all the time?
Yeah.
Bad draw
Draw
distance.
I do love how because all the signs are hand drawn, and so therefore they're not like really pretty because you can't like import whatever, but they're also just kind of like they look like they've been scrawled with a marker.
I also like that the entire thing is suspended like 50 feet in the air. It's on like a pedestal above the ground. I guess just to ensure that it's all like flat.
That makes sense.
That's what we should be doing. Instead of trying to flatten the ground, when
just
we build
raise-
buildings, we should
yeah.
just have them float in the air.
No, that's stuff. I mean, the sea levels are rising. We're gonna have to start building all of our houses on stilts anyway. So.
Look, I came up with a perfectly good solution
Agreed.
for a non-scary reason. You didn't have to add a scary reason to it just because it's October.
We could move like inland beyond the mountains. The water won't ever get that high.
Why don't we just move to the mountains?
Move to the mountains?
Like the top of the mountains? Because I'm sure cell reception up there is really great.
Yeah.
Go live in the mountains.
The closer you are to space, the better your cell reception is.
Yeah. Then
Yeah.
we can do cloud gaming.
It's cute. The Hello Games is in Guildford, and there's like about 4 or 5 other studios apparently that are still also on that same street, and they're just like, we made this thing, and it's like you shouldn't have been able to. What a cool thing you did. Which means that is No Man's Sky just future Minecraft? Like,
I mean, it's. Yeah, I mean
Okay.
it's mining. You both mine and craft.
yeah,
I mean, there are a lot of games in which you mine and craft.
yeah,
There's also big planets and everything,
yeah.
and tons of other people running around and doing random things. And then I think actually the final story I have here, Need for Speed Underground. Unbound, sorry. Is because Need for Speed Underground is like an old game.
Yeah.
Need for Speed Unbound, which is the new upcoming game in the Need for Speed series. They've shown it looks super neat. They've got this like really interesting style where like the cars and I think the environments are relatively realistic looking.
Yeah.
But the characters are all like cell shaded.
Yeah.
And the cars, like when you like go off a jump, there's like this big like these like almost like graffiti wings come out of your car.
They're very
and there's like neon lights that go like it's got a very cool aesthetic.
like
to
when
it.
it's in a lot of the cinematics I've seen, like when the cars are driving, they put like neon like circles where the wheels are spinning in the same direction where the wheels are, but
when you're like boosting.
Yeah, and they're like layered out, so it's like they're not in the wheels. They're actually, it's like somebody was like drawing on a screen or like on glass that's like out, and they're making it spin.
Very future car-esque.
It looks super cool. Like it's a hell of a look, and they have lots of effects like that. But the main thing is you're racing the cops.
Yeah, so the Need for Speed thing, it's sort of this open world thing where you can like do races and stuff, and you're trying to earn money, and you have to like pay like entry fee to races and stuff. So yeah, you see like, you've got like all these cool sort of effects.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
But one of the ways that you earn money is one, like messing around with the cops and getting them to chase you, or earns you like prestige points and money and stuff from people. And then but then apparently they've announced now that you will also be able to do like side bets.
Mm-hmm.
So not only can you like get money to do stuff, but you also be like, I bet you whatever.
Yeah, I bet you this guy's
bet
not
you
going to win the race.
Bet you $1,000 that I can mess with the cops and get away or whatever.
Yeah.
It looks like a super neat style.
It's the only thing frustrating to me is that so much of the trailer is cinematic, and
which doesn't really illustrate what the gameplay will look like.
And
I find that frustrating.
I've watched two trailers, and I'm like, I've seen maybe about 10 seconds total of actual what looks to be gameplay, and I can't even tell if it's actual gameplay or not. But I have to assume it is behind at the angle you would expect it to be. And I'm just like, they even had one called a gameplay trailer, and when I watched it, again, a third of it was gameplay trailer, and the other 2/3 were just random cinematic stuff. Of doesn't this shit look cool? Also, we're gonna jump back and forth between different things, and I'm like, you're not letting me look at the actual gameplay. Let me look at how cool it is to drive around and make all the effects happen and stuff. But
yeah, because the effects are the only thing in there that I think actually looks really neat.
Yeah,
it's not a game series I've cared for, so I'm probably not going to play it. But
the big
I like
thing
that 2D, 3D thing. I like it a lot. Like Miss Marvel does quite a bit of it.
Yeah,
right. Like,
well, that was great in Miss Marvel, where they did so many like drawn-on effects on the that are like nobody sees these things. They're just for the viewer to enjoy, and I'm like, I love the style.
As people in chat point out, that like all those fancy effects would murder the encoding for like a cloud gaming thing.
Yeah.
oh, absolutely.
Not that you would want to play a racing game over that anyway.
No, but the one cool thing about Unbound, which I didn't realize, is that it's being made by Criterion Games, which is the same company that did all the early Need for Speeds.
Oh.
And then they lost it, and EA had another studio doing it because Criterion was working on something else. I can't remember what it was, probably one of the Star Wars games. And so they had other companies putting out Need for Speed, and then it just, after the other Need for Speeds didn't do so well, Criterion has it back now. And so people are like, oh God, please let it be like the earlier ones, which were so good, and it looks really good, so I hope it plays just as well.
I do like games like this, and GTA to a certain extent and stuff, give a real object lesson into why in the real world, I know this is the case, I know this is definitely the case in Canada, I don't know if it's different in the States, but I know in Canada, police don't actually chase people.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Like, because as illustrated even in that little clip, it's incredibly dangerous.
Yes.
Not only to the police, but also just to pedestrians and everybody else. It turns out that if you want to catch street racers by chasing them, you just become a street racer as well and are just as dangerous.
Yeah.
It turns out it's a lot easier to just write down the guy's license plate and then go pick him up at home afterwards.
Yeah, they all got to go somewhere, right?
So at least in Canada, I know it's police policy to not actually bother chasing people because it turns out to be more dangerous. So, which, yeah, I do like. I mean, in GTA, of course, the police are explicitly like
militaristic. Yeah,
they're actually not trying to catch you. They are like just like deliberately driving their car into your car over and over again.
Yeah.
they're not even pretending to not try to do that.
No, exactly. It's like they're not trying to bring you in. They're trying to run you off the road or kill you. Yeah.
Anyway,
they're enemies.
Yeah, they wouldn't use a car for that. Not when they've got their other actual weapons.
Anyway, I think that is all the stuff we have to talk about for that.
Yeah, I don't think anything interesting happened really.
Nothing else.
Like past the point when those stories would have been gathered.
Yeah.
And if there was, that'll be in next week's checkpoint.
It's true. Or we'll
or
forget about it
at
because
least.
it wasn't important enough.
Yeah.
I mean, that
to pay
happens
attention to.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Or sometimes there's just nothing there to really talk about.
That is a good point.
I think that's actually generally the more often case of a piece of gaming news, because a lot of gaming news is also just product announcements.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's just nothing there to say.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens, like, with like the Silent Hill thing, right? It's like, I had a press release in front of me. I'm like, what do I do to make this press release more interesting as a story? Oh, I know. I'll just not actually.
I do agree with you, though. Like, I generally, when there's like a week out and it's like, oh, the Nintendo Direct's out, or the State of Play, or this thing, most of the time I will go watch those events.
Yeah.
Either out of interest or just because I know we're going to talk about stuff on ChillPoint. I want to see if there's anything in there.
Yeah.
I would never have watched that, though. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's all horror games. Great. A whole bunch of stuff for Let's Nope and nothing for me.
There is a story actually that came out. Well, it's not a story. It was more not like a news story. It was more of like an editorial thing. But Bloomberg did this interesting thing. The headline: "How Gamers Beat NFTs."
Ah, yes.
Which is.
With a stick?
Thank you for giving us the credit.
Which is like
I guess, but what did we do?
Well, but the premise of the story is that gamers sort of soundly rejected NFTs as a thing.
Yeah.
And of course, the NFT market has really crashed lately. And so for one thing, I would say don't stop being vigilant about
Yeah.
this thing.
Yeah.
They'll keep trying. They'll keep trying in different ways.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They're not gone forever. But also my favorite comment on that story I saw was that it was like gamers beat NFTs the same way Luigi won at Mario Party.
Right.
We just sat there and didn't do anything, and they all died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny, right? Because like that's a great look, but it's also like right. But that is how gamers beat it, was to be like chose not to participate in this terrible idea.
Yeah.
And just all we did is just kept complaining about how terrible this thing was, and I'm like, boy, there's something gamers are really good at, is actually just complaining about shit and not doing anything.
It's
and
what
that's how you beat it.
You have to talk about that. The like vote with your dollar thing.
Yeah.
Which sometimes
Easier than you think.
it's hard to sometimes that doesn't really work. It's harder to sort of implement than it actually sounds.
Yeah.
But in this case, that kind of actually happened. People
Yeah.
were like, nope.
I mean, I remember signing up for, there was like a gaming product that looked really neat or something that was being advertised, and they were like, oh, hey, like sign up so you know when it comes out. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do that because I'm curious to see whatever. And I don't remember what it was, but like they sent an email update like a couple weeks later that was like, hey, we're going to add NFTs. And I was like, cool, unsubscribe. And it was like, why are you unsubscribing? Like, because you said you were going to do NFTs.
Mm-hmm.
Goodbye.
Yeah. I've
Yep.
sent emails to people to the office, like from the office, who have said, "Hey, do you want to do this thing? It's all about NFTs." I'm like, "No, thank you." Like, I'll write back to somebody who's looking for whatever, but I was just like, "We are not interested in doing this, and you shouldn't be either."
That's
Block.
what NFT stands for.
Yeah.
No effing thank you. So anyway, the battle may be won, but there is still the war.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's not like there's not other predatory microtransactions out
yeah.
there.
No,
Yeah.
and I mean,
Stay vigilant.
there are going to be sometimes you're not going to be able to avoid things like that. Like I know Ian was complaining about like an online concert or something where after the fact they turned all the tickets into NFTs.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not like you could have known that was going to happen or stop like
Yeah.
stuff like that happens. And you're talking about like voting with your wallet, and it's like gamers will often say things like, oh, don't buy this game because they put this tiny thing in it, and if we don't buy it, they'll learn that we don't want that. And I'm like, no, they won't. They'll just think the game's not popular for some reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work.
Yeah.
You have to actually state why you're
Yeah.
not doing something.
So anyway, I think that is all the stuff to talk about for today. Back with, as far as we know at this point, ChillPoint at usual time on Thursday next week, and therefore ChillPoint on Friday. And coming up in just a little while will be more Rhythm Cafe.
Yeah. And don't forget, you can check out patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, loadingreadyrun.com/live for schedules, and store.loadingreadyrun.com if you'd like to purchase things with your dollars.
Just Loading Ready store. Yes,
Store.loadingreadyrun.com. Yeah.
that's fine. Yes.
Did I do it wrong?
Nope,
Yeah.
nope. You did it
Okay.
entirely correctly.
Yes.
My ears got confused.
All right, that's fine.
When-
Sometimes
When we say
I'm so used to people being like loadingreadyrun.com/store.com.
Yeah.
I did ask. I mean, I know on Rhythm Cafe sometimes Ian and I will go to do it, and we'll be like, yeah, loadingreadyrun.com/no.
I think /store still does work, but anyway.
I think so.
Thanks everybody for watching, and we will talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.